Easy lives don't create strong people. I am Monkey D. Luffy, and if there's one lesson life keeps teaching, it's this. Comfort creates softness. Pain creates depth. Most people pray for an easy life. No struggle, no heartbreak, no failure, no loss. But there's a hidden danger inside comfort. Comfort makes people weak without them noticing. Because when life gives you everything easily, you never discover what's truly inside you. Your courage remains untested. Your discipline remains undeveloped. Your resilience remains asleep. That's why easy lives often create fragile minds. The moment difficulty arrives, they collapse. Not because they're bad people, because they never learned how to suffer. And suffering is a skill, a dark one, but an important one. Pain teaches lessons comfort never can. Pain teaches patience. Pain teaches endurance. Pain teaches you how to continue when every part of you wants to quit. The world sees strength and admires it. But nobody sees the suffering that created it. The sleepless nights, the silent battles, the moments where hope felt impossible. That's where strength is born, not in victory. In survival, most people think strong people are fearless. They're wrong. Strong people feel fear, feel pain, feel doubt. The difference is, they continue anyway. That's what suffering teaches. It teaches you that courage is not the absence of fear. It's movement despite fear. And every painful experience leaves a choice: become bitter or become stronger. Many people choose bitterness. They let suffering poison their heart. They let disappointment define their future. They let pain become their identity. I refused that path. Not because pain didn't affect me, because I realized something powerful. Pain is a terrible master, but an incredible teacher. Every loss taught me something. Every failure sharpened me. Every wound revealed a weakness that needed to grow stronger. That's why I stopped asking life to be easier. Instead, I started becoming harder to break. And that's the philosophy most people never understand. The strongest version of you is usually hiding behind the hardest chapter of your life. Luffy philosophy: strength comes from suffering. Pain doesn't create character. It reveals it. When life is easy, everyone looks strong. Everyone feels confident. Everyone believes in themselves. Everyone talks about big dreams. But the real test begins when life starts taking things away. When your plans fail, when people leave, when your heart breaks, when your efforts produce nothing. That's when the mask falls. That's when you discover who you truly are. Most people think suffering is unfair. Maybe it is. But suffering is also honest. It shows you exactly where you're weak, exactly where you're dependent, exactly where you're afraid. That's why pain feels so brutal. Because it exposes truths you've been avoiding. The truth that your confidence was fragile. The truth that your discipline was conditional. The truth that your mindset depended on comfort. Those realizations hurt, but they're valuable. Because awareness is the beginning of growth. You cannot strengthen what you refuse to acknowledge. That's why every painful chapter contains a hidden gift. Clarity. Pain removes illusions. It shows you which people are real, which goals actually matter, which parts of yourself need to evolve. Most people run from that process. They distract themselves, blame others, avoid responsibility. anything to escape the discomfort of self-reflection. But warriors stay. They face the pain directly. Not because they're fearless, because they understand something powerful. The pain you're avoiding today might contain the lesson that transforms your life tomorrow. That's why suffering became my teacher. Every scar carried information. Every loss carried wisdom. Every defeat carried a lesson. And little by little, the pain that once broke me started building me. That's the dark truth about growth. The strongest version of yourself is rarely created during comfort. It's forged in moments where life forces you to choose. Quit or evolve. Most people choose comfort. The few who choose evolution become unrecognizable. So now, you understand the truth about strength. Strength is not something you're born with. It's something suffering creates. Every painful moment, every disappointment, every loss, every failure, they all leave a mark. The question is, what kind of mark? Because pain gives everyone two paths. One path leads to bitterness. The other leads to growth. Most people choose bitterness. They blame life, blame circumstances, blame everyone except themselves. And slowly, their suffering turns into a prison. But strong people choose differently. They use pain as fuel. Fuel for discipline. Fuel for resilience. Fuel for becoming someone stronger than yesterday. That's why pain built me. Not because I enjoyed suffering. Because every difficult chapter forced me to evolve. Every defeat taught humility. Every setback taught patience. Every wound taught endurance. And eventually, I stopped asking, why is this happening to me? I started asking, what is this teaching me? That question changes everything. Because now, pain has purpose. Now suffering becomes training. Now every hardship becomes an opportunity to grow stronger. That's the dark philosophy most people never understand. The strongest people aren't those who avoided pain. They're the ones who survived it, learned from it, and refused to let it destroy their spirit. Look at your scars. They're proof. Proof that you endured something difficult. Proof that you survived something painful. Proof that you're stronger than the version of yourself that entered that battle. Never forget that. Life will hurt you again. It will test you again. It will challenge you again. That's inevitable. But every storm you survive adds another layer of strength, another layer of wisdom, another layer of resilience. Until one day, you become the person your past pain was preparing you to be. That's why I don't hate suffering anymore. Because suffering revealed my strength. And if I had lived an easy life, I might never have discovered it. So if life is testing you right now, good. Keep going, keep fighting, keep growing. Because the pain you're carrying today may be building the strongest version of you tomorrow. And one day, you'll look back at this difficult chapter and realize it wasn't destroying you. It was forging you. What's stronger? A person who never suffered, or a person who suffered, survived, and kept moving forward? Comment. Pain built me.